Hey everyone, Ryan from Ebike Escape. In this video, we're reviewing an electric bike that I've been eagerly waiting to review basically since it was first announced. Let's get into the review of the Blix Dubbel. Before we get started, if you're looking to purchase a Blix electric bike, we'd really appreciate it if you use our affiliate links down in the description before you make your purchase. It's a free and easy way to help support the channel. Thank you so much for your support. There'll also be a slew of resources down in the description, our popular electric bike accessories list, also a link to our own shop where we sell high quality accessories, shop.ebikeescape.com, as well as links to our top e-bike brands page and of course our electric bike discounts code page. So if you're looking for an electric bike, be sure you check out that page before you make your purchase. With that, let's talk a little bit about Blix. They have been around for some time. I first reviewed the Blix Packagini. That was their full cargo electric bike. This is kind of the in-between. I call these utility bikes. Has a lot of the same features as a cargo electric bike without the extra length and weight of a full long-tail cargo electric bike. We're also going to be reviewing the Ultra. That's their fat tire electric bike, so check out that review if you're interested. The company has been around since 2014, so they certainly have more history than a lot of electric bike brands. They're based in Santa Cruz, and my goal for the channel is to review all of their bikes at some point. So if you're interested in Blix bikes, let me know in the comment section below which one we should review next. The Dubbel and the Ultra, however, are their most recently announced electric bikes that I think really complete the lineup. The Dubbel single battery is priced at $19.99, and at time of recording, bright white was the only available color. Though they have the dual battery, which is what we opted for to review, priced at $24.99, also offered in bright white, matte new cream, that's this color, my son calls it smoothie, as well as slate gray. Now, given it is a $500 upgrade to go from the single battery to the dual battery, you do really want to make sure that you're going to be utilizing the extra battery because it does increase the cost quite a bit. Let's talk a bit about sizing. The bike is designed for riders 5 foot tall up to 6'2". I'm 6 feet tall. Keep that in mind when we get to the third-person riding footage. One of the things that I really appreciate about these utility-style electric bikes, besides their versatility, is they often come with 20-inch wheels, and that just means that it's a bike that's going to be a little bit easier to handle for those who are, yes, on the shorter end, or perhaps just a little bit less comfortable with a heavy electric bike. The standover height is 15.6 inches. I'll give you an idea of how a 6-foot rider fits on this bike. Put my foot in front of the kickstand, rock the bike forward. Raise the seat height, and not surprisingly, I'm able to get full leg extension by raising the seat. And this is how someone who's 6 feet tall will fit on the Dubbel. To deploy the kickstand, I'll push my foot down on it and rock the bike back. Really like that for increased stability, though just to note, with the kickstand up while you're riding, you don't have a ton of clearance, so something to be mindful of if you do take this bike a little bit off-road. The max rider weight on this electric bike is 250 pounds, and the rear rack is rated for up to 150 pounds. The bike weight is 70 pounds and 78 pounds respectively for the single battery and dual battery. And as you'd expect, we have this bike outfitted with accessories that suit our personal needs. We have the Thule Maxi seat here. I'll show you the window in a little bit. We also have their mini VIP section that protects the kids and also gives them a handle to hang on to. Now, if you have 2 kids, you'll want to check out the Blix Packagini because then you can have 2 of these Thule seats. Other accessories, we have the wheel guards here as well as the pegs that fold down. They can also be mounted right here. And for those who plan to haul cargo, they have a front rack and basket as well as a large basket. For larger kids, they have passenger seat cushions, and they also have a really cool triangle frame bag. You do lose the nice step through, but you get some additional storage capacity. I'll take off the Thule seat quick. So there's a closer look at the rear rack. There's the Thule Up Maxi window. That's where the seat clamps in there and locks into place. So certainly a lot of room on that rear rack depending on what you plan to haul. Let's dive into all of the components and then we'll get into some first-person riding footage. I'll talk about how the bike performs, and finally third-person riding footage where I'll give you my concluding thoughts on this electric bike. For brakes, we have hydraulic disc brakes, Zoom branded, lots of experience with these and they perform great. Paired with 180mm rotors, we have some wider tires. These are Kenda K-Rad tires. I really like the tread on them. If you do happen to take this bike on some light off-roading, I wouldn't take it on any mountain bike trails. These are 20-inch by 3.3 inches wide, so just shy of true fat tires, which I view as 4-inch wide tires. Now, while these tires do offer some comfort and you can certainly lower the pressure on them, just a note, you have a rigid front fork. There are mounting points, however, on both sides. We have metal fenders, both front and rear. And the wheel is a quick release, which means it's very easy to remove this front wheel. Say you need to throw it in the back of your vehicle or perhaps change a flat. We have a bright 80 lux headlight mounted to the front. It is an integrated light, runs off the main battery. It also has a reflector. Above the light, we have the Blix badge. That's where the front rack and basket can be added. And if you do that, Blix provides a mount for the light to be moved up to the handlebars, which is nice. And they also give you a cable extension for the front light. Cable wrapping done very nicely here, very clean look. And let's take a look at those BMX style handlebars. What's nice about these handlebars is you can customize them to your liking. You can move them a little bit further away or perhaps closer to you, depending on your preference. Moving to the cockpit, we have non-locking rubber grips, Zoom hydraulic disc brakes with motor cutoffs. The Dubbel comes equipped with a left-hand thumb throttle. On the right side, we have an included bell, as well as a micro shift 8-speed trigger shifter. I'm really a big fan of these micro shift components. I think they perform really well. To go into the lower gear, you're going to use the right lever, and to go into a higher gear, you use the smaller left lever. The nice thing with these BMX style handlebars is it gives you a lot of options for accessories. We have our favorite mount here available at shop.ebikeescape.com. This is the one that bolts on. This is the elasto case. We also have our handlebar mounted ABC cage. What makes this special is you can use all sorts of different sizes. This is a 32 ounce and fits in here just fine. And once you tighten it down, it's not going anywhere. Jumping over to the display. Now that extra room on the handlebars is made possible because they're utilizing a very minimalistic display on the left side. To turn the bike on, you'll want to use the power button either here, or if you have the dual battery version like I do, the power button over here on the rear battery works as well. When the bike turns on, you'll notice a little blue ring here. There is no blue ring on the secondary battery, but you will know the bike is on because, of course, the display will turn on. On the display, we have current speed, and there's also a ring around the display which tells you the capacity of the highest remaining battery. And then you can change the information that you see here by pushing the right button. Here we have pedal assist, 0 all the way up to 5. Hitting it again will give us different information. This is going to be your battery percentage. We also have a trip odometer and back to speed. And if you're in one of these other settings, say battery percentage, you do see the pedal assist go on the screen just briefly when you change the pedal assist level. Okay, let's check out the Blix app. Now, I already created an account, but I am going to connect to the bike. All right, so the bike is connected and you can see here there is a lock option in the bottom left-hand corner, which I really like. Miles per hour, front and center, and you can also change this to display the state of charge as well. You also can turn the lights on and off. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you can change the pedal assist levels. Top right-hand corner allows you to locate where you are and, of course, record a ride. And when you're done with the ride, you'll get the total distance. You also get the total time, average speed. You can also search for directions to your favorite restaurant, perhaps. Clicking start, of course, will start my ride. Opening up the menu, you have map, dashboard, activity feed, vehicle. You can make sure your firmware is up to date. I already updated the bike with no problem. And you also have access to contact support. And finally, settings. Under profile, you can link your account with Strava. There's also display settings. So that's the Blix app. It's not quite perfect, This is where you would change the bike into Class 3 mode, and I talk a little bit more about that in the first-person riding footage. Moving down the rest of the frame, we have a ton of mounts, both on what I'll call the down tube here, as well as the seat tube. You could put a bottle cage here, but I imagine some of these bolts help make that triangle bag attached to the frame here. Let's remove these batteries. Just a note, with the dual battery version, you get 4 keys, but they're 2 different sets, so you can't use the same keys on both batteries. The more square-styled key is going to be the one for the front battery. Turn to the right to remove. You'll hear a click, and then there is a little lever that you pull. This battery is a 48-volt 13.6 amp hour battery, 641.9 watt hours. And just a note, it fits in our waterproof and flame resistant small battery bag available at shop.ebikeescape.com. Also a roll top bag. What we use these bags for the most is when we travel, offers some protection so you can put them in your vehicle when your e-bikes are on the rear rack. The battery can be charged both on and off the bike. There is a little cover here. And simply insert the end with the terminals in first and snap into place. Turn to the left to lock it, and I always like to give these batteries a tug just to make sure that they're not going to fall out. Now to the rear battery, that's going to be the more circular shaped re-engine key. I'll insert the key, turn all the way to the left, pull the key out, and lift it out of the frame. Using 2 hands is the easiest way. This is the second 48-volt, 13.6 amp hour battery. Again, 641.9 watt hours. Charger port over here along with that power button that I showed off earlier. And there are buttons on the side that give you an idea of battery capacity. To put the battery back on, simply line it up into place and push down. And then put the key in, turn it all the way to the right to lock it to the frame. At the bottom of the bike, the dual kickstand, we have Welgo metal pedals. Here's a look at the cables beneath the frame. Just a note, there's more cables than usual due to the dual battery setup, and those cables run along the frame. We have both the motor cable as well as the hydraulic cable on this side, and they do have some shrink tubing in order to try to keep these cables more organized. In the rear, the wheel guards, pegs, going to be a little bit difficult to see the hydraulic disc brake in the rear. Motor cable coming in between the disc and the dropouts. Integrated rear light attached to the rear rack. It is not brake actuated, and you turn on the lights by holding the pedal assist up button. The motor is a 750 watt motor that peaks at 1,350 watts with 95 newton meters of torque. Be sure to check out the first person riding footage. We'll see what this motor is capable of. Gearing in the rear is 11 to 32 teeth, and up front is a dual-sided metal chainring, 48 teeth. And the microshift shifter is paired with a microshift 26 rear derailleur. Again, 8 speeds instead of the usual 7 that we see on most electric bikes. Behind the wheel guard is a chainstay protector to help keep your frame looking nice from any chain slap. Standard seat. Be sure to check out our electric bike accessories list for some additional, more comfortable options. All right, with that, let's see what this bike can do and get over to some first-person riding footage. Let's take this thing for a ride. Here's the passenger seat. In case you're interested in that accessory, just Velcros to the rear frame here. Nice step-through frame. A few things to talk about. Pedal assist level 0, still full access to the throttle. That can differ depending on the electric bike. Got the speedometer app by Cool Nicks on my cell phone mount. And another important distinction on this bike is that it is a current-based system, which means in each pedal assist level, there's a current amount of power that's going to go to the motor. And the way you can tell that is, say in pedal assist level 1, the motor just never cuts off. It just keeps giving you a little bit of power. The bike comes shipped as a Class 2 electric bike, top speed of 20 miles per hour. Whether you're pedaling or using the throttle, can be overridden to a Class 3 bike. You do need to download the app. I was having some issues with the app, reached out to Blix, sounds like their developers are on it. But if Class 3 mode is something that's important to you, I'd recommend reach out to Blix as well. Make sure it's going to work for you. All right, here we go. Throttle only 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 10, 14, 17, 18, 20 miles an hour, and kicking off right at 20 miles per hour and holding us there. I find that this bike is pretty zippy. I'm very curious what it can do up our large hill climb test. Okay, now we will go into the various pedal assist levels. I'm going to shift all the way down and turn it into pedal assist level 1. It'll go to that and then go to your currently selected screen, which in this case is miles per hour. All right, let's see what this bike can do. Very gentle takeoff, which I appreciate. It's nice for newer riders, but I do need to shift up. Again, this is a cadence sensor electric bike, so as long as my legs are spinning, the bike is going to give me power. All right, we'll shift up 2nd gear, 3rd gear, 4th gear, maybe even 5th gear. Remember, that's of 8, and nice leisurely cadence. Again, the motor is just gonna keep providing me whatever they have set at. Small amount of power, creeping up in speed to 15 miles an hour, and very leisurely cadence, not providing a lot of effort. And the display is reading right at 15 miles an hour as well. All right, let's go into pedal assist level 2, 6th gear, and we are already getting close to the 20 mile per hour top speed. 18. I'm gonna shift up to 7th gear. I personally prefer a slightly slower cadence. And holding us right at 19, I have no doubt that pedal assist level 3 is going to hold us at 20, no problem. And I can really just feel the motor cutting off there. Again, class 2 electric bike, the motor is going to cut off at 20 miles per hour. But I would say for 20 mile per hour, it's nice. Gearing wise, 7th or 8th gear feels very comfortable, not anywhere near ghost pedaling. All right, let's test out some of these other pedal assist levels. I'm gonna have to slow down, and we'll start from a stop. All right, here we go. Pedal assist level 4. Still feels very gentle and then ramps up. And already at that 18, 19 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, no problem. And we are in 7th gear. It's good cadence for me. All right, let's go stop again quick. Pedal assist level 5, the highest level of pedal assist. And I'm just gonna shift down a little bit. Of course, I could use the throttle to get started, but we'll start pedaling. There we go, 12, 15, 17, and there's 20 miles an hour, and I can pedal all I want. I saw 21 for a second, but this is a heavy bike, and without motor power, you're not gonna be able to get it going any faster than that. Now, I'm very familiar with these Zoom hydraulic brakes. We see it on a ton of bikes. So at this big tree here, I'm gonna slam on the brakes at 20 miles per hour. And there you go. Plenty of stopping power. All right, but how does this bike perform on hills? Let's get to our hill climb test. All right, this is the hill that I test out all the electric bikes that I review on the channel, so you can compare and contrast. The GoPro makes this hill look so much smaller than it is, so we'll put a picture on the screen as well as the specs. And keep in mind, I am a lighter weight rider. Our first test is gonna be throttle only, so we'll see what that minimum speed is on our GPS. Currently cruising at 20 as the hill starts. And as I was kind of alluding to, this bike feels like it has more, not surprising, has the class 3 speeds. So I'm very curious what it can do. Anything in the teens, in my opinion, is very impressive. 15 miles an hour. And keep in mind, the tires are not quite fat tires, but there is more rolling resistance. And yeah, no problem holding us at 16 most of the way. I did see 15 for a second. As expected, Very impressive performance on this motor. But it is an electric bike, so I'm gonna go back down the hill and we'll go up again while pedaling. All right, here we go. I'm going to shift all the way down into first gear. And we will go into pedal assist level 1. Now, what I'm interested in with some of these electric bikes, especially for hills, is the gearing such that you can conserve battery and go up in, say, pedal assist level 1 or 2. And then on the higher end, what you're capable of going up the hill if you want to zoom up the hill and you don't care about battery life, and maybe you don't care about battery life if you purchase the dual battery version. First gear, pedal assist level 1, I would say this would be a significant workout. I can keep my legs spinning, but they are definitely working. So I would go into a higher pedal assist level. 2, I don't feel a huge difference there. Going about 6 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and go into 3. Feel a little relief there though, not much. Cruising at 6 miles an hour, still in first gear. Pedal assist level 4. Feels a little bit better, there we go. And maybe you can see my legs are moving a little bit easier now. So this would be doable. I could shift up to second gear though, maybe even third gear. And pedal assist level 5. That's where we're getting all the power, it seems. Shift up to fourth gear, fifth. And not surprisingly, we're getting into the 15, 16 mile per hour, which is what we saw with throttle alone, though certainly conserving some battery. So going up the hill while pedaling, performance as expected, though you'll probably need to go in the higher pedal assist levels to get more assistance up the hills. All right, with that, let's get into some third-person riding footage, and I'll give you my concluding thoughts on the Blix Dubbel.
I waited a long time to review the Blix Dubbel, basically since it was announced. These utility e-bikes are very appealing to me, and there aren't a lot of options out there. You get the extra cargo capability in a smaller form factor e-bike that is nimble enough to navigate any city. Plus, due to their size, they aren't as intimidating for newer riders and also have a more upright riding position. The step-through frame design is nice as well. And if you're watching this review, you might also be looking at the Rad Power Bike's Rad Runners and the Velotric Go 1, all e-bikes we've reviewed, so be sure to check out those as well. But where does the Dubbel stand out? At the $2,099 price point for the single battery and $2,499 for the dual battery, it is undoubtedly on the upper end price-wise of others in its class. But it also has something many don't offer: dual batteries. Be sure to check the links in the description for the most up-to-date pricing, since Blix has been known to run sales, and using our links directly supports the channel. Blix estimate of up to 80 miles of range actually seems reasonable, and they deplete in essence simultaneously. About 5% for each battery at a time, switching between each until empty. Another noticeable standout was the 750 watt continuous motor, peaking at 1,350 watts with 90 newton meters of torque to flatten almost any hill. I have no doubts the motor is more capable than the Class 2 speeds it comes shipped as. More on that in a bit. Riding and feel-wise, the current-based pedal assist, while still a cadence sensor, was noticeably smooth. This of course differs from speed-based pedal assist, which cuts the motor at certain speeds depending on what pedal assist level you're in. The rest of the components are what we see commonly at this price range. You do get 8 speeds instead of the usual 7 though, and I like the choice of the microshift drivetrain. And it's nice to see the 11 to 32 teeth for gearing in the rear. The Zoom hydraulic disc brakes are plenty adequate. Accessory wise, it's nice that the wheel guards and foot pegs are included, and a decent selection of other accessories are available from Blix, though they do add up quickly. So what are the main considerations of the Dubbel? I think some will quickly point out the lack of front suspension, which is a fair point, though the wider tires certainly help, and if you're sticking to pavement, I wouldn't stress too much on this point. A suspension seat post might be a nice way to improve the ride quality on this e-bike. Next, the display is small. It does, however, open handlebar space for accessories, and some may appreciate that while the display is small, it's also very easy to use. Typically, I only want to see my current speed anyway. Those who like all of the information at a glance on a larger display can use the app on their phone. This is certainly a nice feature, but in my experience in testing the app, it's not quite perfect yet, at least on my Android phone. Several times the Dubbel struggled to connect to my phone, but once connected, it worked great, and the bike also updated the firmware flawlessly. Of course, they also need to fix the Class 3 mode, which is an option within the app, but there's a lot of potential here, and I like the ability to lock the bike within the app. Be sure to check out our Blix Ultra review as Class 3 mode worked while using an iPhone. Blix is a US-based company with US-based support. They also have a phone number with support hours during regular business hours. I know that shouldn't be surprising, but it's not a given with all e-bike brands. This is something that e-bike purchasers maybe don't think enough about in their haste to find an e-bike with the specs they want at the cheapest price. I've reached out to them to clarify a few things, discuss the app, and was very impressed with the thoroughness of their answers. So maybe if you're on the fence, give them a call. And if you already own a Blix bike, I'd love to hear your experience in the comment section below. Again, if you're planning to purchase a Blix bike, why not support our efforts for free by using our links down in the description before you make your purchase? Thank you so much for your support. I want to hear what you think of the Dubbel in the comment section below. What other utility e-bikes are appealing to you? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.